tio Vake Tali Folau. Ai whakawhehoko taki anga o e tonga I he kolope. This is Radio Vake Tali Folau, where Tongans can connect globally.
Malo malo Maria hau eki pe malo lele tonga kota pe he paenga le tio Vake Tali Folau. Ta dalele ki mo tolu he fiafini pe me San Francisco, California pe mo taunga he Polokalama o e fiafi mo ni te tau ko Polokalama ko ia o e fiafi ni o whahau ko atfokia e kainga ko ia o e funga vai ko puna pe te tau kamata ke po tala ma ai tonga pe tau to koko ko dai pe tu abe fasko ni atia mak motol pe mo tai lele aki ai kainga ko ia o vai ko puna. tali ni a mere va hoi kona kupu pe mo programa ko ia ai fu vai ko puna ka ko ngai matanga ko ni falau he hiva hange ka te au ko lahi ange ia i ngai matanga ko toa o tonga mere va hoi ko ia pe ia
ko toi ha e merito
malo va hoi
malo apito e merito fa ma penga mario e te fini pe a ko le pe mua ke fa mal maluat i ngai tala fa tapu ko to ape o a faki pa me pae nga re te o Vake Tali Folau i ahoni kai talangata ia te au fai ki tu atu kai ata ke u fa hoko atu ai programa nga maheni i e te afi moni te hono ko to ape ai a ko e programa re te o ia ai kai nga pa me funga vai ko puna la ko e fini o ko fia ke tari re ki mo tolu mo me amai ke tau kau fata i e fini pe a hange pe ko ia ko tokilave ati ai te u kamata tu pe ai por kalama ai funga vai ko puna aki ai tau po tatala ai tonga pa me hoko ai valu ki he hiva la ko ne hoko ko ia ai hiva ki ho fulu mata ha te tau kau fata hareva pe mo te vita hufanga ai uma a ka kala tongi pa mo e polo kalama ko ia ai toko football focus ko e anga ia o tu ai polo kalama ko ia ai funga vai ko puna i he fini pe a o fia lahi pe ke tau kau whaataha i he polo kalama koe ni. Koe fini, koe tau polo kalama nga maheni pe o mo maheni pe mo ia ki he po tatala ai tō ngā. Pe a ko whaamu pe ke kore atu pe ke mo eiki pe mua shea te tau polo kalama i he fini. Pe a te o atu pa mo e tau whika telefoni i a te kumutolo mo whieta mai ke tau kau whaataha i he polo kalamani tuku mai haotari te kawaki pa mo ngahi whehu i koe ni, wa whika telefoni, ono ni manoa, uahi wlawha, hiva tolu, noa hiva. Te whamanata pe tau whika telefoni, ono ni manoa, uahi wlawha, hiva tolu, noa hiva. Pea i NPH o ko wakaifo pe o ku mou tokolahi pai i lotoni, ka ko uia ke keulawa, o wakaia ki o mou ngahi hingoa, ka ko whamalo lahi atu. O i ko mo whea mai ai polo kalama ko ia ai funga vai ko puna kai hange pe ko ia ko kamata ke tau polo kalama he kafini e tau kamata pa mo hoa ulu aki pa mo po tatala ai tonga ko e pehu i uaki ko te tau kamata pa mo ia ko e hoi pa mo kainga ko ko le famol mole te ka te motor ko fenga pehu lele itaha ke u to ko ngalahi pe ai kole pa mo whakaamu ko ia ke te whai peha taratara noa te kau aki pea mo e tau mawhakawa pa mono ngahi o wau. Pea kuta o sia o mai eni ki he vae ua. Ko e polo kalama ko e ni pa ko whaamu pe te tau lawe pe ki hakonga i he pōni ko ha peha ngahi whehui. Te tau lawai i he uraki hoa pea ko e ne lawa i e tau tari whehui ko i he pōni. Ko e tau whehui uruaki oku pehe. Ko e ha a hono ui o e vae ko ia o e kumete. Ko e ha a hono ui o e vae ko ia o e kumete. Pe ko e tano a. Ie hingoa o ku whaangawe aki pe ia i he ui ko o e vae o kumete. Te kwai pe ngahi lea e kau tangata ni i. Nau whakaau ngā i fo i lea ko e niki ai. Pa ko e tau whehui ulua ki ia. Ko e ha ai hingoa o ku tau ngawe aki, te o ku whaaui aki ia, ai vae koe o kumete, vae koe o tano a. Ai o ku tawanga maheni pe, ka moe lea koe kumete, ka koe ha ahono ui ko ia, o e vae koe. Manatui, koe tau ngahi kumete o ku kehe pe. Koe kumete koe ai tonga, o ku vae whaa pe ia. Koe kumete koe ai kainga fisi, o ku lahi hono ngahi vae ia ona. Ka koe tau fo i vae koe e wha e tau kumete. Koe he hingoa o ku tau ngawe aki ki ai pe o ku whaui aki ia ai vae koe kumete. O ku kehe pe e tau i koe ai fo i loto i tano a. Loto i kumete. Ka koe vae ni koe o kumete. Koe ha a hono ui o e vae o kumete. O ko wakahe fo ki a lole ulu ave na moe ulakitari o kune o mai koe matoka. E lore u ave kataki peto e whare rei mai ahotari ka pau kuke pehe ko e matoka ai vai o kumete mari au pito te whanongo i hono whakahingo hingoa ai kongo konga o kumete mana tui wai e tau lea tonga ku ngau ake ki nau tolu ko ia ku nau maue ai kawa ko e fonua o ku ia kawa ko fonua pea o ku tau lewa e tau tolu ia ai loto o tano a mausa ki wata hono ui o ku tau ia ko e loto fonua pe ko uhinga pea ko tau ngau ake ko e i he kawa ka pau ko e hoko haki apsia pea koe makaya tu koe kau tangata mo kau mata pule ko eke atu kato ta koe nau puke fonua pe pa mi he pale pe o kunau iai pe o fai ai ngahi o wau koe oe ilo kava ka ko whamalo ki a lole ulu ave koe ni o ku talamai e lole ulu ave whakakakato mai a enetari koe uia oe vae koe o kumete o uia koe vae o matoka malo o pito e lole ko tui ko urakitari pe ia o ko wakai hifo ki ai koe uia oe vae e wha o kumete koe vae o matoka pa malo o pito lole ko tui koe ke te aha whakamatala ia e o atu whekau atu pa moe foilea koe ni o ka pau pe te ke whanongo ku tapa e kina ia ngahi lea ia ngahi whakatahaanga ai vae o matoka pe mahino lewa ke te kita o ku talanoa ia ki he vae o kumete pe koe vae ko ia o e tano a i he taimi tatau pe ko o sanga fok e au o atu ai hingoa koe o he loto i kumete matu i mea ko kia i e kawa o kuia koe loto fonua ia koe whehu i koe te tau hoko atu ki ai koe haho no ui o e funga tano a na tui koe ko kumete ia mo osi mea i peki mo tolu hono fotunga koe vae ku tau tala noa ki ai tala mai lole ulu ave o kuia koe vae o matoka koe loto i kumete o kuia koe loto fonua koe funga kumete leva ante foi poto takai koe olunga he funga kumete o koe lea ia nai ngawe aki ki ai pe aku tau ia koe ha moni pete tau pehe koe funga kumete ka koe e ngahi hingoa hange pe koe hingoa kon kuta os whatala noa ki ai na e ngawe akia i ono aho i ono whakahingoa o e konga ko ia e tano a mantu guai ki foi konga ko ia koe olo waha na tau whatala noa me mea he tau mahi por kalama ko tau situ apa me iai ka koe mahu inga o ki foi konga ia ko ia ko pau ke fulihi ia pe whakahanga ia ki he tui kanoku polo na mea folau malo mua e kau mai ki he polo kalama ko e tari ena ko o mai ia e na mea folau o kui a e funga kumete pe ko e funga tano a o kui a ko e whakalousi malo au pito na mea pe a o ku tō mui mai a lole ulu ave pe a mo e tari tonu ko ia i he tua ko ia o na mea pamalo atu mua ia te kumotoko tau peo kumo kau mai ke tau kau whatah i he whiawhini pe hange pe ko nahi kole ko whakahopa tuho wei kumoi kāinga ko ki polo kalamani o kumahu inga ke tau whetoko ni ahti ko ha ho ilo ke vahe mai ia ko ha ai ngahi o ko teu pe o atu le vai ke tau whiako aki ai i he polo kalama o e whiawhini ko e whehu i hono hoko te tau hoko atu ke foi whehu i koe ni pe a o whakaamu pe ke whanongo tokanga pe ke ki whehu i koe ni konga e ki ilahi a e tari koe te whakaamu ke tuku mai te kapau te ke hanga pe o whakanou a o foi tari ke lava pe ke mahino ka te au whakakau ko ke o mai te koutu fo ke ki ilahi ai taipe mai a ko he telefoni ki mo tol ko mo nga a mo computer ko mo iPad ko mo tablet o tu ki fai ngo fua ka mo tol no taipe mai tari pe ke te mo tol ko he telefoni feinga pe ki he no taha ko te ke ala lava ka lava ke mahino mai ka te au ai foi tari ko ni ka te atu leva e au ia ai oi ni pe ma a ne ko e fehu ko te tau hoko ki ai o ku pe he ko ha ai founga e whakahoko e he toko taha holo tau mawha ke ilo ai e motu apuaka ai lahi koe o e kawa. Koe whehu I, koe ha ai founga e whakahoko e he tokotaha holo tau mawha. Pē, koe tokotaha tau kawa. Ke ilo I mai ai e motu apuaka, e koe matapule whai whatongia ai lahi koe o e kawa. Na tui na tau talano he wikosi, o pau ke angi mai a motu apuaka, ke tauhi ai foikonga koe e tolu na e hoka whakatu unga uho, ave foikonga ai e taha koe ke ave ki haangata motua ke holo ke tau mawha. Pē koe tuki. Mana tui tau talano ai he tau mawha kawa, pia ko hono lea koe o tuki o kawa, koe holo. Pako taimi koe e ave ai, ke holo koe ai kawa. E anga whewhere waha no ilo I mai e motoa puaka, uo lahi ai kawa koe ke whakahopo ake whatongia. Koe taha e o mai kia motoa ki he kaangata motoa ka taki, ke nau teu koe ke holo tau mawha, pia toi ai ko ngā kawa e ua. Te tau toki whehu I tau tolu ki ai, pe oku ave ai ko ngā kawa ko ia e ua ki whe, pe oku ave ai ko ngā kawa ko ia kia hai, ka koe ko ngā kawa koe na e ave koe, ia haangata motu a ke holo tau mawha ke holo, koe ha ai founga, tau pehepe ka pau ko awen o kou tau kawa. Pea o mai rewa fuikonga koe ne ia e uho koe fukawa toho whakatefisi, koe fukawa toho, koe fukawa hula. Koe ne omi koe kia te au koe ke uhanga koe o holo, pe tuki koe ai kawa koe ia. Koe ha ai founga, te u whakahoko kia motua puaka, ke ne iloi ai lahi koe o e kawa kua holo. Kale aisi, malo mua e awhi mai ke tau polo karama, ofa pe o ku sai pe ai mea kotoa pa me hena, polo ai kai ke toi wakahi foki ate koe, kai whamalo ai kau mai ke polo karama o e whiawhini. Ka koe tau whehu I ia, pe koe hae whaunga koe ai toko taha holo tau mawha, tene whakahoko kia motoa puaka. Pea e ilo I mai ai e motoa puaka, koe kawaini nai holo e whiunga maali e ia, pea moe ongo alofi, pea moe kautoa. Koe tau whehu I ia, e anga whehono ilo mai e motoa puaka, kai mei whakate whito ia ai tali, pea mihe toko taha holo tau mawha. Koe ha ai whaunga, tene whakahoko aki ia motoa puaka. Koe lahi e o e kawa na e holo, pea e hoko atu lewa ai ani mai koe a motoa puaka, I he ani hoko koe te tau hoka ki tau tōkia I he tau whihui. Ka koe hui o ku ki I loloa ai whakakaukau koe ki he tuku mai homo tali, koko le peka e me li ke ka taki mua, tuku I maha tau ki fo I tu waki ke tau kamata aki, kai oange ha whainga maali e ke kau tali whihui, ke nau hanga o tohi mai ai, a e nau tari ke kau aki, ka mai tau whihu I hono tolu, I he polo karama po tatara ai tunga, ka me he radio Vake Tali Folau, I he polo karama ai funga vai kopuna. Malo e me li. Ane peka tau ki mo ua pe Amerika tu pe ke tau hoko atu ka tau ki whainga maari pe tau tu waki pe e whakahoko mai Amerika ke tau hoko atu ki he e tau tu waki ka koe pehu I eni koe ha ai whounga e whakahoko aki I he holo tau mawha ia motua puaka kene ilo I ai kuo lahi whiunga ai kawa pe moe whatongia koe au tau mawha kawa ke totofu ko toa pe ai ongo alofi ai umaa ai kautou a. Tala mai e lole uruane ko taria ko ulaki wakahi foki ai ko e langai ai vai o kumete ki olunga o teke ikimua lava ene holo e kawa. Malo au pito e lole uruane to ki whakalele isi I mai pe a hotari. Ko tui ko e Ko tari kono o mai e lo le o ku to e si I pe ke ki whakakakato mai ai tari kono o mai e lo le o ku ka o pito pe ai tari kono o mai lo le he mei whakawhie maali ka o ka pau to ki whakalele isi I mai pe ai tari kai ke o ku to o mai e lo le ulu ave ko e kawa ena na e holo ko kawa ena o e holo la ko tui o ange pe e a wia pa ma alo le ulu ave ko hui he ko tu pe ke atu pe ki feu ko ni ka lo le ulu ave ko tu ke te imagino ange pe ai whakamatala ko ni proprietario ko mai e lo le ulu ave tala mai e lo le ko e kawa e holo tau mawha e lo le ko e vai ko matoka o ku wha ko e whe ai vai ko e kumete te hanga ko o ki I langa I ko ki olunga tala mai whale ice ko e kawa e na e tuki malo whale ice ko e taimi ko no whahoko ai tau mawhakawa ko hono lea ko e kawa e na e holo ko uhinga foki ko e tuki e tau mawhakawa o kungawe aki e holo a paulewa ko ha ilo kawa ia ki apisia pe ko ha ki katoanga pe ki sanga na e whai o paulewa ki tau ngā aki tau tolu alea ko o mai ko e whale IC ko kawa e na e tuki ko taimi ko te tau wawa ki tau mawhakawa o ku whakalea lewa ia ko e kawa e na e holo ka koe ni o kuto e whakakakato mai e lole ulu ave a ene tali ko e va e ko ia e ua ko e ki he tau malo o pito lole ua mana tui ko e fui tano ko e va e matoka ku wha pe ko anga ko e whakatalanoa o e tari ko o mai e lole ki he mahino ko aku ko e langa I e va e kumete hange ka te au te uhiki ko to e au kumete ki o longa ka aku mahu inga ai o ma e ko e ua o kumete tau poto mai ki he tau ai ku whakakakato mai e lore ko e lava ko ai holo ko o e kawa ka ko ni lava ko hono holo pe hono tuki pe hanga lema e holo tau mawha o pelu ki e whala tuki kawa mana tui ko e fo ke whala whai holo ko e kawa pe ko tuki ko e kawa te tau ngau aki pe tuki ke mahino ka au ikai ke tuki ai kawa I e tau mawha kawa Tem ke osia e ne holo ko e kawa ko ne tuki pa te ne hanga lema peluki ai whala tuki kawa kai o atu lewa ai tanoa o tuku ia I mua I he holo tau mawha pa te ne hanga lewa o hua I hifo ai kawa ko e na e holo I he loto kumete pa ko ne hua I pe ko e kawa na e holo ke loto kumete te ne hanga lewa whenga I ke ne hanga o vete ki e kawa koe na e holo I he loto kumete ke mei whiunga maari e pe pe moe fo I loto whonua loto I kumete pe koe whounga lewa ni koe na akwa amu ke o mai ki ai e tari ko e ne hanga lewa e he holo tau mawha o pukei ai ongo fo I va e koe e ua kumete tau poto mai ki ai o ne hanga o ki I langa I hake ki o longa ko unga ka e lava lewa moto apuaka o si o mai ki he kawa koe na e holo I loto kumete pe oku whiunga ia pe moe whatongia koe I he tau mawhakawa o tui koe mea mahu inga koe hangena tau talanoa ki ai I he konga koe o kumete o pau ke whakapapau I he holo tau mawha o ne hanga o furihi ai tanoa pe koe kumete ke whakahanga ai holo waha ki mua ki he tu ka nuku polo ma tuka tau mawhakawa ulo ai tu ka nuku polo pe koe whounga ia o ku whakahoko koe e holo tau mawha he ilo mai ai mutua puaka uo whiunga te alahia e kawa te whai ake whatongia koutui o ku mahino pe pale aiska o maa Bruno Heft ai ki I whakamatala koe no ko o atu I hono whakahagia mutua puaka kene ilo I mai alahi o e kawa uo holo Kai whamalo ki alo le ulu ave, pea mono o mai ai tari koe ni, pea hangepe koe tari nai mai whare aisi, ka pau na aku whehu i atu ko ha ilo kawa, ma ue whare aisi ia ai poi ni. Kai tuku pe ke tau hoko atu pe, ka koe ne whainga maria pea e merimo e tau tu uaki, ka tene whakahoko mai pe, ka te tau ki koma le vai, kai hoko atu tau tu uaki i e whiakini. Koe whehu i pe te tau hoko atu, ka whamanata pe tau lai ne telefoni, whai aisi, koe ono ni manoa, ua hiwa wha, hiwa tolu, noa hiwa. Koe whehu i koe te tau hoko atu koe ki ai. Koe whe ai taimi, e ka matai ai holo tau mawha, a ene palo. Mana tu koe ngahi haka, o ku haka ia e he holo tau mawha. Ka koe fo i taimi, ko whe taimi koe, e ka matai e holo tau mawha i hono palo koe o e kawa. Paamu pe e te i tokoni mai ai. Ka paule mai ai ha taimi, uo whakawhatongia ati koe, e ke ngahi hakawa, i ha whai aho, e koha ki apisia, e koha kātoanga whakaausiako, o ku mahu ina ia ke te hanga i loi a hoto whatongia, ka mui ngawe koe ke te whakahoko. O ku he taimi ke te toki, haka ia i e paro koe kawa. Te ria na osi pe a hono wa i koe o e kawa na e holoia ke loto kumete, pea kamata lewa e te palu a kitaya. Ka koe tau whehu i, koe whe ai taimi e kamata ai holo tau mawha i hono palu o e kawa. Tau whehu ia koe te tau hoko atu koe ki ai. He koutui koe, koe whanki whatongia koe ni, o ku whaingo fua peia. Koe taimi koe tau mamata atu ai, i he hawhai whatongia. Te hanga peo mui mui, ai ngā hiangi koe no kou talanoa atu ki ai. Pate ke mahi no i peia e koe. Tala mai e lole ulu ave, koe omi Hawaii. Malo, o ku koe fo i angi to tonu koe ki he omi Hawaii, o ku wangi mai a moto a puaka, ui ha amo vai. Pea e ui lewa, ai ongo angai kawa, vai. Koe ngā hiangi koe ni, o ku tawanga maheni pe mui, a kai kehe. Ka koe tau whehu i ke tau foki mai pe ki ai. Koe whe ai taimi e ka matai ai haka pe koe palu koe ai holo tau mawha. Ta koutui pe o ku o ngā aki pe ai lea holo tau mawha he ki ke ngau ake atu ai lea tau a. Ka te ngau aki pe ai lea holo tau mawha pe koe tau kawa ko unga ke tau mana tu i pe. Pe tau tau ngau aki ki tau tolu ai lea tau a iha atau ki i katoa ngai whai o atau ki sanga sanga. Pena a mui ngahi ilo kawa ko i ngahi apsiasi. Te nau ngau ake ki nau tolu ia ai lea tau a. Te pe ki he ngahi whale kalapu. I ta ui e toko taha koe koe ki kaunanga koe koe kune ohu ohu koe ai kawa kau tangata e ui a koe tau a. Koe taimi koe te tau hawai ki tau mawhakawa. Koe ui koe e toko taha o kune ngahi ai kawa. Koe toko taha koe ia koe holo tau mawha. Pe koe tau kawa ia. Ka taha pe i o morea koe ni te nang e ngawe aki. Ia pus mahino lewa ka te tau tolo. Koe toko taha ia o kune ngahi ai kawa. Ka ku te kei ke wakahi fuki a taha o kune te omi hafo i tari ki he pehu i koe ni. He koe uhi o ku talama e lole u ave koe taimi koe o ku neu iai ai vai. O whare aisi tataki. E meri tataki pe mua o whakaiange talaine telefoni. O whare aisi eni o ku whenga mai ke taulaine telefoni. O whatawange pe whare aisi o ku whanonga mai a emeli ke whamo ui mai e taulaine telefoni. Ke tā mai ke tau kau whataha i he tari pehu i o kōni. Oku o mai e lole ai tari koeni, koe taimi koe oku ne ui ai ai vai. Malo lole te whenga mai pe. Koe ko ngahi haka ko ia ko ai holo tau mafa ai pau ke ni haka i palu e tawa ka pau o kuangi atu a motu a kuaka ke palu kilalo ai angi fau o pau ke ade fo haka ko ia pea ka pau o ku angi atu a motu a kuaka ihe angi ko ni ko yangi o kuangi kia motu a kuaka ke tau pakai angi kia Oe o wai foi ange taha ke palu pe tu ha whakama ko ngahi angi ko no ko atu ko e mutu apuaka o ku ia fo yangi ai ko ne osi pe ai angi ko ia pe e kamata leva ai kolo tau mawha ia iho no palu ko ia o e kawa o tu ka pau te mo mana tu pe tai ni ko ngahi kawa e to taholo tau mawha o pau ke ne haka i pambi mata hono ni ma ke loto kumete awa ke ni mata he ma ke loto kumete ai ko whakatata ia o ene palu ko o kawa ai ko fehu ia ko wate poni ko fe ai taimi e kamata ai holo tau mafa i hono palu ko ia o kawa pea hange ko mea ko o mai i he ngahi tari ko ni tara mai e lole u ave ko e taimi o ku osi ai lingi ai o e vai malo pito lole u ave ai feinga mai o e tau ngahi tari o whakaamu pe ke o atu pa mo i ki tokoni ko ni ko e taimi a koni o ku kamata ai e palu koni ai tau kawa o ku te eke o mai e vai ia te eke ui mai ia e o ngai kawa vai te ke angi mai a moto a kaia ke te nawa ke ui ha ana vai aia koe ko ki tokoni atu pe ia ki mui i he tari koe ni koe taimi koe e kamata ai e ne palu o te ke o mai vai ia aia koe angi koe ui ha amo vai o toki ki mui ia tau pehe koe fe ai fo yangi e toki kamata ai tau kawa i hono palu o e kawa. O te mahana koe ki whaka no wia e au ki he fo itari, koe fe ai fo iangi, koe ne angi mai pe mo toa waka he angi ko ia, pe o ku kamata ai pe ai tau kawa ia, i hono palu o e kawa, ki he loto kumete, pe ko tau pehe koe ne haka i koe palu kumete, te ke o mai vai ia. Ko ia koe ki itari ko ko wha amke ke o mai, koe ha ai fo iangi a mo toa waka. Kone whakahako me te moto puaka ko yangi ko ia. Pea ku osi mahino pe ia. I he toko taha tau kawa. Ko ene whakahako pe fo yangi ko ia. Pea kamata ai pe. A ene hakai e ia. A ene palu koe oi kawa. Kai whanalo mua ka lole u ave. Toi talama e lole. Koe holo e to malo. Malo au pito e lole. Toi wheinga mai pe. Koe lea konu ko mai e lole. O kutoki whakahoko ia. I he taimi koe e tufai e tau mawhakawa. Ta mai whare aisi, ta whoki ki moua pe auiha a mo vai. Malo pito whare aisi, koe taha pēni e ngahi angi koe a moto apuaka, ka au toki angi a moto apuaka i ai ki muia. Koe angi koe a moto apuaka ki ongo ngai kawa, ta whoki ki moua pe auiha a mo vai o kui muia. Lo tempo kuangi a ta moto apuaka fo yangi koe whare aisi, o si palu e tau kawa aria. Aia ko e ku fehu i, ko e fe ai taimi e kamata ai e ne palu anaia. Tarama e lole ulu ave, ko e palu pe a whakatatau, ko tahia ngahiangi kau o mai mo toa puaka. Ka ko e whakafoki ange pe, ki e tau fehu i koe na tau toki situ a mai mei ai. Ko taimi ko ku whakahatu ai koe e he tau kawaki a mo toa puaka, ko e tau mawhae na e holo, koe halewa ai angi koe motoa puaka ku hoko atu ai. Koe tāri e ke wheu i koe ni. O tui e toko ni lahi au tupia ke te kumotoru ke tau tāri wheu i. Ko ngā koe fo yangi kona motoa puaka o ku hoko pe ia i he osi koe. Kono whakahoko atu e he tau kawa koe tau mawhae na e holo. Koe halewa ai angi koe motoa puaka ku hoko mai ai Koia ai fo itari koia. Talama e lole ulu ave ko e taimi o kune tuku hifo ai ai kumete. Malo o pito lole ulu ave. Peinga pa mo toko ni lahi mai ke tau tari pe ulu koe ihe poni. Moni pe tari ko mai lole mo whakakau kau. Kone osi pe koe e nehanga koe o langa i kone hiki koe ai o mo ba e koe o kumete o tau poto mai ki ai. O whakalea koe tau mawhai na e holo. Kia ko pake ne tuku hifo e ia. Ai kumete ki lalo. Ke ikai kene puke i pei o lunga. Ka ko pau ia ke tuku hifo ia ki lalo. Koe hae fo iangi koa moto apuaka tene angi mai ai. Pe tuku hifo ai e he tau kawa ai kumete ki lalo. Hange koe lawe koko o mai e lole. Koe ne tuku hifo pe koe kumete ki lalo. Pe hange koe whatala no koe na tau whakahoko. Pau kene hanga ia whenga ke tuku maali e tuku whakalele e kumete pe koe tano a pe tala mai e paula vaiangina koe tuku atu tuku maali e pe kai palo malo au pito e paula vaiangina ai kau mai ki e tau tari whehui pe moe tari kani o mai e paulo oku ofi au pito i he oku ofi pe i he tari o whakakaukau ka oku te eki ai ke o mai ai po i lea totonu honoangi koe ni ai au te tari tatau mai pea lole ulu ave tuku atu tuku maali e kai palo tatau to pe tari ko mai paulo mo tari ko a lole ulu ave ka oku ikai koe whakalea ia te koe angi ia koe oku angi mai ai koe moto apuaka tau pepe koe whafoki pe tau whakaukau o awe ni ko hanga whahoko atu kia moto apuaka pea ko ene fo iangi mai koe ke kamata ai e palu ya koe a tau kawa ni os ilo ipea e ia o ne osi pe ko ia e kamata lewa a ene hiki hono ni maa ona o haka i mai ai palu koe o e kawa o kute eki ai ke ui e vai ia ke ome e vai e toki hu i e ongo a ngai kawa i e vai ki loto ki he loto tano a ka os kamata pe e tau kawa ia i hono palu no haka i koe tamai lole ulu ave koe palu pe a whakatatau malo pito lole koe angeni e ki mui lolo tonga koe o e nahi koe e tau kawa a e kawa pe au ke ai ani koe palu pe a whakatatau pe ai ange whao koe tahi angahi ange ki mui kaka foi ani koe ni ki mu a pe ia pe a ka mata koe a hono ngahui o e kawa koe ha ai fo i lea oku o atu koe e moto apuaka. Ai koe fo i lea koe tene o atu pe e hanga rewa koe taimia e hanga ai e tau kawa pe ko horo tau mawha o tuku mamari e hifo ai kumete ki lalo pau rewa kene hanga o puke ai whakalousi mana tu koe fo i funga kumete ia na tau peo kiane nai pau rewa kene hanga puke whakalousi onde hanga o tuku maali e koe uhinga ke tu hanga tonu e tanoa pe koe kumete pea mo tu ulele pea koe ne mau pe koe ia pea kamata lewa ai palu ia ai tau kawa ka oku iai e fo iangi ki mua koe ia ko fehu ia tuai koe ha ai fo iangi koe a moto apuaka pea mahino lewa ki he tau kawa tene tuku lewa ki lalo e kumete o whai ai ngāwe koe ni whatonton de lousi ala ke whakalousi puri hake kumete ke tuhanga tonu tu lelei dia toki kone mau pe ko ia la ku kamata lewa ai tau kawa ia ni hono haka i koe oe palu tala mai lisi taka atu vea malo mua kau mai ke polo kalama koe tuku atu tuku mai tuku maari e pe kai palu malo apito lisita tala mai e fale aisi tui pe a whakamau koe taha penia ngahiangi o mai e moto waka ka o mai e moto la ki mui pe fo iangi koni ki mu a koe e toki tuku hifo ai e he holo tau mawha ai kumete pea kamata lewa ai ni palu koe tuku atu oku lahi apito ho mo o mai ai tari koe tuku atu ka oku toki whakahoko whoelea tuku atu ki mu wai whoelea ki mua oku nehanga o mai pea toki hoko lewa tuku atu whakakau kawange koe hai whoelea koe ki mua oku talamai lisita ka whaatu vea whakalelei e toua mana tui ko e tau lotonga no foeni i hono whakahatu e tau kawa kia moto apuaka ko e tau mawhae na e holo ko e tari ka moto apuaka e whakahoko mai e angi e fou mai pe i e whakalea koe na o atu koe e tau kawa talamai e whare ice ko i tuku atu tuku mama li e pe kai palo hange ka te au o taimi ke ta i e milo lua ia ke tau whanongo ai i he poni e ngahi tari maari e kono kumu o mai e se talo se vila vuna whainga anuku malo mua e kau mai ke he polo kalama ka oku toe puria a e tari ko ia a e seta whakakau kau pe ko e lea ko e ni a e tau kawa ko e tau mawhai na e holo ko e foiangi pa amoto apuaka e ha upe ihe whakahoko koe pe koe lea koe ne ate tau kawa pe toki whaka osi mai ki mui ai tuku atu aia koe taimia e toki tuku mai ai ehe tau kawa ai kumete po koe tano a tuku whakalelei hange koe na kus whamatala ki ai pe a kamata lewa e ne palu kako whaamu ke o mai ai ki fo i lea to tonu koe e o mai koe e moto apuaka pe toki whaka osi ake tuku atu o tupu ostona ke mahi no i e koe i whakamatala koe fo i lea pe koe na e o atu koe e he tau kawa koe fo i lea pe ia e to o mai koe e moto apuaka ke mahi no ai ki ai pe a kamata lewa e ne palu ana Paulo vai angina e ni o kune tala mai koe tuku atu tuku maari e pe kai palu pe ai ange whao malo koe angia koe ni o kutoki angia ki mui koe angi ko whaamu ke o mai i he hiri pe ono whakahatu koe e holo tau mawha koe tau mawha e na e holo koe lesiari tu awa likiliki malo mua kau mai ke pokarama tama e lesiari koe tau mawha e malo apito lesiari o ku tau whakatala noa e ni koe ha ai angi koe e o mai e mutu apuaka i whakakau kau whakawave pe ke e ku whakamatala te ke lava pe koe ia o mai e tari sai ka pau koe whakalea e koe tau mawha e na e holo pia koe angi mai koe a moto apuaka ihe fo i lea pe koe ni na aku whakahoko atu koe tau mawha e na e holo pia ne whakaosi aki lewa ai tuku atu koe tuku maari e pe kai palu o toki ki mui mo ia na koe fo i lea ni koe o ku mu o mu a mai koe i he tau kawa koe ha ai fo i lea pe ai ua o kune o mai pe toki ki mui lewa ai tuku atu pe toki hoko mai ai tuku maari e pe kai palu pe whakatatau palu pe ai kilalo pe ai ange whau koe ngahi angi ko toko ia o ku ki mui ia na koe ki fo i lea koe ni ko whakaamu pe e iai hataha tene o mai sina hei muri malo mua kau mai ke polo kalama na mai e lisita koe ta foki ki moua ai a kua oe na lisita ki he angi a koe a moto a puaka ki o ngoai ka wa ta foki ki moua pe au iha amo vai na tui ka tau whehui koe whe ai taimi e ka mata ai ai holo tau mawha i hono haka i koe oe fo i palo koe oe kawa e toki angi mai a moto a puaka ia ta foki ki moua au iha amo vai o tui te ripita te mea koe na whamatala ke ki moa e toki ui o ngai kawa vai o mai vai ia na hui koe ke loto kumete oku osi haka pe ai tau kawa ia i hono palu koe oe kawa koe tahine hostea koe koe tari kano o mai e he tahine hostea te uhanga e au o o ange ki ai tari. Ko unga ko fo ile ko na amu ko ke o mai ko ne o mai he tahi ni hostea. O fa ati sina he muri malo mo e ma fa mari a se mai he por kalama ko ia ai kai na funga mai ko puna ko tari ko mai tahi ni hostea ko holo tu mari pe kai palo. Ko ile ko na aku fie ma o tanga mai elisita ko holo sio to ki hawa elisita mo holo ki mui ka ko mave mai tahi ne hostea ia. Ko yangi ko na aku whakaam ko ke o mai ko osi pe ko hono whakahatu he tau kanga ko tau mawhai na e holo o kundolo tonga i olunga i kumete i hene langa i ko ia. Na ko yangi ko amotoa puaka ko holo tuku atu o tu pe ke manatu e ko yangi ko he taimi ko tau mawhai na e holo na ko yangi mai ko amotoa puaka ko holo tuku atu na ko taimi lewa ko ia taimi hostea ka pau e whainga maali o se po karama pe ke toki inbox mai ha fika telefoni ko family i tonga ke to papo ki pare ko to la nima pe ko osiko ai mahinani e whakama opo ko to ale wa o ngahi tari to apu ia i ha family ki tonga ko ia ka whainga maali ha fika telefoni taimi hostea pa ke tuku i mai Afrika ki tonga hau family. Kai ke tu ma ke tau foki mai pe he tau fo i fehu i ko ni. O ku mahu inga au pito. Ka pau te tau whakatoka ngai ai alu ko ngahiangi ko a moto apuaka mo ngahi whatongia i he tau mawhakawa. O ku hoko lelei pe ia. O ku kai ke pehe ke wheto aki pe au ware pe ku hoko mai fo iangia ko i muia ki mo ikai. Ko ne lama pe hono whakahatu ko tau mawhae na e holo angi mai lewa moto apuaka. Ko holo tuku atu. Ko laki angi ia. E toki whai angi ko ki mui. Tuku maari e pe kai paru. Lisita, lewa ke tonu ho foi tari ka tuk atu ho pale. Ko taimi lewa ko ia. Ko ne hanga lewa tuku hifo ki lalo e kumete. E ko tano pe ne hanga lewa o tuku mamari e mai. Ke tuku whakalelei hangi ko ia. Na aku lawe ki ane. Ko tui te fuki au ia lisita. O te whakamatala tu o ua tu o tolu a te whai whakakaukau koe ni ka os mahino pe ia ka te kumoto ka koe fo Itali ko holo tu kuatu ka te tau toki hoko at lewa tau to aia koe taimi ia ke hanga he tau kawa tu wifo e kumete ki lalo ne hanga tuku whakalelei pau ke ne ala ia ke whakalousi ke funga kumete matu pa ke tu lelei kumete ia he taimi ko ia pau ke ne ala ia ke whakalousi i furi yake o tu whakalelei ai kumete. Pea ko ene mau pe ko ia. Pea kamata lewa ene palu anai. Hangi ko whakatala noa koe ane nai. Koe taimi koe e kamata ai e palu e tau mawhakawa i he osipe ai fo iangi koe ni kua holo tuku atu. Pea kamata ai pe palu toki hoko mai ngahi angi koe ni ki mui kua o mai e ngahi tari ki mua. Ka koe kamata anga eni oe palu ko ia ai tu tahatau kawa. Ka itu ku pe kare ais ke wakai pe ka emeli pe ku whainga mari e tau telefoni mo tau kei whango mo pe ke tau ki tua ki ke hua tu pe e tau prokarama mahu inga au pito pe he oik mo ka inga ke wate tau mahi tu waki o inga ko ki nau tolu o kina whanga whakapa anga e tau prokarama le tio la vai whahoko atu e ngahi whatongia ko e ni. Kai tuku ke tau hoko atu pe lesieli o tui ko e koloa a o mo wafe mai ke tau kau whataha i he ki pokarama ko tatara ai tonga i he malo o e le tio funga vai kopuna. E tau huka tai peki ki foi whehuri ko ni lolo tonga a e tau i he kumetepe ko e tanoa. Nai fuke whaunga na tau whahoko ane na he tau whehuri e ilo whewhe e moto apuaka o lahi wheunga ai kawa koe na e holo. Koe whehu i koe te tau hoko atu ki tau tolu ki ai ele sieru. E ilo whewhe e moto apuaka uo mei lahi ai vai sai. Koe whehu i koe na e koe tari koe na muumane nai. Mau ke angi ma moto apuaka. Ta whoki ki moua ui ha amo vai. Pea ko pau ke lea lo ua lewa ai ongo angai kawa. Aia koe tau kawa i loto. Angai kawa to o matau. Angai kawa to o hema. Oe tau kawa. la koe na tafoki pe koe hanga mai ki loto ki he tano a pea tēnā ui leo loa lewa vai pea o mai lewa a ngai fo yohoni ko os mawa e vai taine hoi sea mai hata hau family i tonga o tola he apito pe kau tari whehu i mai pa mi Australiana o nau omi pe hawhika o nau ngahi family i tonga ka koe whehu i koe ni koe ha ai whounga e ilo mai ai motu apuaka kua wheunga ai vai ke kamata aki ai tau mawhakawa pea kou tui pe te tau whaos ake ki foi whehu i koe ni mo tau tantari ai pehe kou makahifo kua mau mai te vita hou whanga ia ka moe konga whakaose o tau porokalama koe ni ai whunga vai kopu na i he whiawhini e tuku pe moe ke tau whakaose ake ki foi whehu i koe ni koe whehu i e ilo whewhe e motu apuaka kua mei lahi koe ai vai pea tene o mai lewa ai angi koe ni vai taha aia te upehepe ko ngā ua ai whehu i te ke tari mai ai e ilo whewhe e motu apuaka kua mei lahi ai vai pea e angi mai lewa vai taha koe konga hono ua e ilo whewhe e motu apuaka kua wheunga ai vai pea tene angi mai lewa ta au whe vai ai niko tala mai ko e lisita kafu atu wea ke tuku e vai ko tau whehu ia aia ko foi founga e ua e ilo ai e moto apuaka o lahi e vai mei lahi ko e vai pa tene angi mai lewa ke vai taha ta au whi lewa ai angai ka vai taha i he ene hui ko ia ai vai kai hui pe ai angai ka vai taha pea koe konga whaka osi ko e whehu i e anga whewhere wahano ilo e moto apuaka ko wheunga e vai ko e vai kono kui loto i he loto tano a e wheunga pe ia i he ongo a lofi pea moe kautou a kai kamata lewa ai tau mawhakawa te tu keu watu pe mua e tari konu ko mai pe me Australia e ta ahine hostea koe ai e he tamau kune lingi ai vai tene lingi ke tafe maalie oua e lingi vave mo te sio ki mua malo au pito e tahine hostea ai o mai o e tari whaafofa koe ni ka ke toi ki whakalele i mai pe manatui o kutoko ua ai ongo tangata koe kuna linge vai pe o kuna hui koe kawa ai ongo angai kawa toi ki whakalele i mai aho o whehui e u ilo pe ko hai ko ngana aku ta koe kuna toko ua foki kai ke toi whakalele i mai tahine hostea te ria na whakakainga mai whakalisi ta kotari ka koe tari o ko wakahifo pe mea akanesi waske o ku talamai akanesi waske e lingi mamalie ai vai malo pito akanesi e tari na tu iko e taimi ko e hu iai e heongo angai kawa ai vai ko pa pe ke na lingi mamalie pe e hu i mai angai kawa to he ma hu i hake angai kawa to matau ka ko tau whehu i e ilo whewhe e moto apuaka o mei lahi e vai pea o mai lewa moto apuaka e fo iangi konu tala mai ko e luisita vai taha pea kone vai taha pe ko ia ko toko taha pe ia tene hoka tono hui ko kawa ko ha ai founga ai angai kawa mauton ke wate ki toko ni ko ia pea ko angai kawa fe e ilo ai moto apuaka ku mei lahi e vai pea ne angi mai lewa vai taha pero taimi ko e hui ai angai kawa ko tika ki talatu pea e angi mai lewa moto apuaka ta au fie vai aia ko ne mahino ia ko wheunga kai kehe ko e seta lo se vila vuna whainga anuku o ku talamai e seta ko e pau ke sio angai kawa he matau kia moto apuaka aia ko tari ko ni e seta o ku ke tari ki he ko ngā uloaki o e tau whehui pe ko e ko ngā ua o e tau whehui manatui ko e funga te whaka whakanono i atu ai tai te whakanono i atu ai tari o pehen na iai ai tari na e o mai e tahine hostea tala mai e tahine hostea ko pau ke to ta ko o kune hanga ko lingi ko vai te ne lingi mamali pe mo sio ki mua ai ko sio ki mua ko sio ka moto waka o ki kai ko sio ki he olo baha ai ko mahu inga pe ke tau whakato ka ngai ai mahu inga o tari ka te hanga whanau no ya te ke te ria tau taini ko fe ai ngai kawa tene hu ipe ai kawa pea ko ene sio whakamama o ko kia moto apuaka pea ilo lewe moto apuaka me lahi ai mai ko tui maha e whai ngofua nge ke moutari mai ai ai ko tau konga ulaki te ulaki tuku ia tuia ko fe ai ngai kawa tene hu ipe ai kawa ka mo ne sio whakamama o kia moto apuaka pea ilo lewe moto apuaka uo me lahi ai mai mantuki o ngā kai kawa toko ua ngai kawa to hemba ngai kawa to matau Kalama lisita ko to matau na o mi ani nai pa ke ilo aku ko tari alisita ke ko nga ulaki ko nga honoa lole ulu ave te nalingi mamari pe ta musio ke matua puaka pakataha moe angai kava etaha to ohema koe tali kono o mai e lole ulu ave o pehepe te uto o ia i he poni, koe uhi he oku ne lawe i mai, ai angai kawa koe na aku fie mao, Tange koe tariko mai lole. Ko pau pe ke na lingi loa, tena tarike konga uaki, malo lisita, ko tariko ke konga uaki o kuhala ia. Te whenga mai pe lisita, Unga ko to ai tariko mai lole uluave, he kune lawe i mai angai kawa koe ko hunga kiai. O pau ke na lingi lo ua pe te tawa ake le hu i pe he ke na whakatou sio ki nawa ki a motoa puaka o i toko taha pe e sio ki a motoa puaka sio whakamama o ka motoa puaka ki mua ko e angai kawa to hema pea ko ene sio pe koe ki angai kawa to hema whakamama o ke motoa puaka ilo lewe motoa puaka u mei lahi fe unga vai pea o mai lewe angi ko ni vai taha pea ko ene ta ofi pe ko ia ai angai kawa to hema kai hoko atu pe ai ngai kawa to matau i hono hu i ko ia o e vai pea ko konga whaka osi le wako o tau tari ko tio ko smahino le vai he ko ngai kawa to he mai ulaki sio whakamama ke moto apuaka pe angi mai vai taha ko hu i to ko taha ko ai ngai kawa to matau ko ne tafoki pe sio whakamama ke moto apuaka mahino le va ke moto apuaka o fe unga e vai i he tau mawhakawa pea o mai lewa ai angi ko ia ta ofi e vai. Ko ik mo kainga ko tui koe ka osi pe ia tau ki whehu i koe i he pon te kau atpa mo e po tatala ai tonga da ko whamanoa tu ia te moto ko ta pe pa mei tonga eiki o wakaihifu ka ma Australia o ku tau kau whakataha i he whiawhini io e seta na aku wakaihifu ki ho o tali na ke tala mai ko pau ke sio a ngai kawa he matau kia moto apuaka. Aia ko konga uluaki, ka pau na ke tari mai ki ai, ko konga uluaki, ko ngai kawa to he mau, la sio whamamau, ka to sio whamamau, ai ngai kawa hono. E he tapa aki to matau. Kai ke ko whamalo lahi at te motolu na mokau mai i he tari whehu i o e poni, na ko whiwhia lahi, ko hinga ko e ngahi tari whaafofa ko mo o mai. Tala kai ama malo mo ai kau mai ke prokarama. Ka teu tatau atu au he pa mo e prokarama po tatala ai tonga. Ka tau hoko atu pa mo e konga whaka osi o e prokarama ko ia ai funga vai kopuna. E hoko atu ia pa me ia te vita kufanga kai uma a kakara toni pa mo e tau hou ai ua ko nyok toe pa mo e whaka osi ia ai prokarama ko ia ai funga vai kopuna.
Sepe mahoi ke tu e te ki fo itu waki pe ho mai re vango wa
malo e meri tu mai re tau ki tu waki ka mo me mai peloton ho ek me kainga ka tau ho kwa ke tu waki ka mo tau por kalama malo a
me alele ka u me alele pensini ong naukau ke tana glahi ke feliuri waki o ea i lele loloa o kuiku kono fra uri o ea mo no fra mafana ilahi o mamani mo maalunga ngai ai tahi o faingata ngai ke tau ngahi family o tumotu ke na mo ui fie marie lili ulewa he ahoni me he pensini ke mea lele uhila me he SoCal PIRCT O kumao e he mautimi empower ha u totongi whakafoki tai totongi. Mo polo kalama ke whakawhaingofua mo whainga maarie ai whakawhetongi. Telefoni ono wa ono noa noa taha hiwano. Ke tokoni o whakasisi ai uri i o ea mo malui ho taukakai.
Looking to make your home more energy efficient? Empower at Southern California Pacific Islander Community Response Team offers free programs to help you. Call us 626-660-1096.
Tuka te taimi malo wa hoi.
Malo apito Emily, kakala ka umaa te vita na kakala mata uma fin te vita ka pau ke whanonga mai na i ka matahu mai pe te vita aninai ka kufa o si ai pol kalamat. O tu pe Amerika taki pe lava tuku maha tau ki fohiva ke tari aki a te vita ke lava mai ke tau kau whataha pe mu kakala i he pol kalama ko ia o e fiafini angi ko ia mo mea iho e mo kainga. Oi wike hono
Tu pe ata tau ki whanono, ata matau whaihiwa ko mo mau pe pa whailonga mai e mere wahoi.
Tuk mai pe ko e meriko te hu mai a te vita malo au pito.
Malo.
Tiare o Patiti Fa, master artisans of Polynesian costumes, accessories, and design. Our Polynesian-owned small business has handmade costumes for over 15 years. Our island creations are shipped worldwide daily, whether it be Tahitian, Tongan, Samoan, Cook Island, Fijian, Hawaiian, or Maori attire, we've got you covered. Customization is key when you're trying to stand out in the crowd. At Tiare o Patiti Fa, we work with our dancers to create the perfect piece that helps you tell the story of your performance. If your love for the Polynesian culture goes beyond dance, then you'll love our jewelry collection. From earrings to bracelets, rings, necklaces, and Tahitian black pearls, you name it, we've got it. Whether you like an existing piece or would like to have something custom made, we've got you covered. Looking for more than costumes and jewelry? Well, then head over to our website to check out our costume supplies, hats, flowers, pareos, sandbelts, coconut oils, and so much more. Visit www.tiareopatitifa.com or check us out on Etsy at www.etsy.com/shop/tiareopatitifa. You can contact us via email at mavet@tiareopatitifa.com or call 916-271-0955. Mahalo Alpito for your time.
Kaya pa tau whaihiwa wahoi. Mau ki mate mai.
Hako tu pe te ke asi mai a te vita.
Iyo.
Kala?
Teki asma te vita?
Asi mai pe me nai pa te kuri ulo to pa ko ti am. Sa te tu mata ku pai vai me ni malo. Ai tu ta ke kala.
It's
Pe mautokon ke totong ho ngai mo wa uhila pe kasa. Whakata mai ke teng mautau ke mautokon niat. Telefoni ke Empower ono wa ono no noa taha hiwa ono. Ke fetong ya melele uhila ai ke ma Facebook a ke fatau fa mama e SoCal PIRCT pe telefonio no wa no tahai wa no. Iyo. Koi.
Oi, te alpe ahí va pete mo kamata.
Mamo kakala ke topu mate vita malo pito meli.
Malo emeli.
Iyo.
Malo pito mere bajo kona kupe ma fainga mali. Ko e wike uluaki fokieni. Aia ko e polokalama I e poni ai funga vai kopuna. Aia kuanga maheni ki ai o whalereia e te vita hufanga. Pea pehe foka te au kakala tongi. Ko e polo kalama ko e ni o ku makatuunga no whakalere polo kalama ko e ni whekau aki pea mo e youth aia pe e merewa hoi ku mawhakaukau ke ki i fulihi e ma polo kalama o lele i he youth na angari aia e whakataukau ai pe ai tamaik tangata mo e tamaik whewhine. I he anga koe e mawhakaukau ke lele i ai polo kalama ko ia o wike uluaki, mahina kotoa pe, aia ku mawhakaukau ke lele i he ngahi tapa kehe o e whikau aki pia mo e tau whanau e wahoi. Aia e aonga, whakatou aonga ki he kakai tangata, pia pe he fuki he kakai whewhine. Paku mawhakakaukau lewa ke furihi e mapolo kalama o whakalere i he youth. Aia o alu ai peki o lunga ki he anga koe e tau makoe anga pe e mawhakaukau wahoi ma tātānoa peki polo kalama e toe a wheinga ke toe lele i ange ai aho tau ngai whamiri ui ngā kaulele i peki he katau tolu he tau ngai whanau anga e tau hi e tau ngai whanau ke a ko i ki nau tolu ki he mo ui whakatatau pe tamaik tangata wa mo tamaik whewhine. Pako mea na ma whakaukau ke liliu lewa e ma polo kalama ma lere lewa i he youth. Pea koe po ni na e whai hakole e te vita ki kolokesa. Piutau ke ne lava mai pe te ne loto fie maari e pe ke lava mai aina e waki tuku mai e te vita ke uwhai ha whenga kana aku kore ki he ongo ki tamai ki na hiwa pe i heni kai ke whainga maari e whangi tamai ki aia koe taimi kou tuku e nau ako me UH nau he kapasi mai me UH ki kahuku e aia koe toki au mai ako tuku e tau polokalama whakaukau lewa a te vita ke tā mai kai ke aha ku maua ke ilo ke he anga whetu utake a te vita pia mo e ku tāhine o whae na whetu utake o pehe ke tala noa i he whiawhine. Aia o ko whakamalo atu wahoi ko uhi ko ulaki lere i mai ai konga hono uluake polo kalama e whunga vai ko puna. Pea matoki hoko atu rewa au pea mo te vita hufanga ai ko tala noa atu peeni ka o rewa ke toki mau mai a te ita hufanga pa toki hu mai iyo ko te vita iyo whakamalo atu wahoi ko ilo i pek tau hufanga pehe ngahi lotu kamata mei mua pa pehe foke ngahi whakatapu ko osi whakahoko ka ko te vita hufanga eni ai ko e toki hu mai pe ai toko taha koia o talanoa mo te vita hufanga whakahoko atu ia ke pāanga ke nau mea mai ki ai pea koe taimi tukuanga le whainga maari e ke hoko ata te vita pea mo toko taha koe nina e kore ki ai a te vita ke whakalere a te polokala malo wahoi mahaka toki ai pea mea te usiope me telefoni mei tua toki kapa toki aha mea malo au pito
malo kakala Evita, pasa te tani ka bumba.
Iyo, malo pito. Kore whamore mora te peke he koe ngā koe ki pau palema whakateknikare koe nai hoko. Kolo pen ko lava hu mai. Asiri au ke fu hanga hono ngā ke ngō mea ngā ue hua koe nai whaka ke whenga atu aki. Kake, ko tau, malo tau lava mo tau mai ke whiaf koe ni wahoi. Peke kakala. Mo ki nau tolu nau whanau mai he pāinga. Ke tau proklama kone poni. Kai ki te whaloloa ko kore peke honga tukuata ai fotutu ke he proklama poni. Wai ai tau ai tō taha kuna whai whenga holo pea tari lere tō taha koe ni ke hu mai ki tau whai proklama i he poni. Pea koe te honga peo mahalo ko tui pea e lava peke asimahi taimi koe ni te honga tukato no hingoa. Ka te te honga peo tukuata ki introduction e toko taha koe ni. Koe ngahe koe tau mua te whai tā noe pōni ki tau tā noa ki ta whaki ai a kope pe hefo ki he ta whaki koe ni ai taki lelei. Koe tō taha koe ni kono hingoa koe ko whamalo ki ai, ko inga ko ne loto maulalo ke hu mai he poni ke o tau whai programa whakataha. Ko no hingoa ko kolokesa piu tau tongi. Ko kolokesa piu tau tongi ko tō taha ko ni ko kau mai mutu ki tau tolu mi Hawaii. Na e ako pēa e tō taha ko ni i he high school ko nei Kahuku High School. Ko ne osi ne ako me ai nei no tonga i he ne ako i he high school ko ni nei vai ngā volleyball ai. Pia ne maa whuki mo e whainga maari e scholarship i ako mi he ena kei whakaosi ne high school. Pia hua ngā tōna ruai ki he university ko na koe ko BYU Hawaii. Hoko atua e ne ako. Ka ku na alwe tahine ko ni e he ta whake ai ne tau mua ki he matai tohi ko social work. Pia mawai hono no matai tohi I moene honor teim na ne lava ia e ta whake ako koe ni. Pia ku ne lawatonga whakaonga ai matai tohi ko ia. I kai ngatai ka koe ngahi ngawe o ne whai I tua mi he ne ngawe ko ne whai ako no ai na alo whai ni whenga ako. I he ne ngawe o whai ki he tautupu, I kai ngata pē I he CRC, kai pē whuki ki he community. I he koloko no whai. Ka ko malo pita ko inga, ko ne lava mai pa ko kore pē ke pāinga, ko inga ko e toko taha ko ni e whangafua pete, ma whai atu pē ai whenga hangi ko tau programa na whai I he mahina ko si mo ki tangata tonga koni ko Yam Tongi. Te whai pē ke whenga pē ke whai he rea whakapapalangi ko ngā ke whaingofua ki ai e anga ne tene whakamatala ki he whai tau pōta anua pōni. Pa koi ai, Kolokesa, if you are there, you can go ahead and I can't see you yet, but I just want to welcome you. For those of you that don't understand Tongan, I just want to introduce our guest tonight. Her name is Kolokesa Piutau Tongi. She is from Laie, Hawaii. Just a quick intro. She graduated from Kahuku High School. Red Raider Nation, shout out to the Red Raider Nation. And she also played volleyball there, earned a scholarship, academic scholarship, and she went on to BYU Hawaii University to further her education, and she graduated in social work, and she now works in that field as a social worker. And also outside of her work, she does a lot of community volunteer work in her church and also in the community, specifically with the youth. So so happy to have her here tonight. Kolokesa, are you there? Can you hear me?
Thank you, Devita. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. So we're just going to make this as easy as possible. We're just going to have a just normal conversation. Okay. And just I want to hear from your journey. If you can just, before we go on, if you can just please share something about you and maybe you can talk about your family, your parents, and your origin. Okay. Before we go on. Yeah.
Perfect. I just first of all want to thank you for that introduction, and just to start my journey. The reason we came here to Hawaii was because my dad wanted to pursue his education or to further his education. And he came here. We were still in Tonga. However, then he was able to come back and get us. And that's how we immigrated from Tonga here to Hawaii. And my father came to BYU, I think it was 88. He came 1988 and went to BYU Hawaii. He went to school there, and he graduated in 1993 in accounting, and he actually double majored in accounting and business management. And from there, I know my dad asked us, me and my older brother, if we wanted to go back to Tonga, because again, we were here on a school visa. So he made sure to include me and my brother in our decision if we were gonna return back to Tonga or stay here in America. And me and my brother wanted to stay here. So my parents made the decision that it would be a great opportunity for us to further our education here and have more opportunities. More opportunities than they had when they were growing up in Tonga. So we did stay here after my dad graduated. I attended Laia Elementary. And then from there, I went to Kahuku High School, which you mentioned. So I am a Red Raider for life. And after I went to Kahuku, I then went to a 2-year college. It was called Honolulu Community College. I started there, and then from there I went to another community college, which was Windward Community College. From there I went to University of Hawaii. I transferred to the University of Hawaii. I went to school there, and what I wanted to study then was human resources, and that's when I transferred to UH. And then from there I went to I think I only attended University of Hawaii for a year. And it was there that I made the decision to serve a full-time mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And from there, then I went on a mission in 2015, I believe. Yeah. And then it was on my mission that I wrote my dad, and I told my dad that and I think my mom too, I wrote both of them telling them that it was there that I knew where I wanted to go to finish my schooling. And it was at BYU Hawaii. I didn't know how I was going to get there. But it was when I came back from my mission that I knew I wanted to go to BYU Hawaii and finish my bachelor's degree there. And then I did graduate from BYU Hawaii in 2021. And then I took a break for about a year, and now I am pursuing my education and my master's at Walden University online. So that is where I am right now with my education journey. So yeah, it hasn't been an easy journey. So I'm just, sharing just very short details about my journey. But it was, the journey has been very bitter, but in the end, when you get to reaching your goal, it becomes, you eat the fruits of your labor. So it becomes sweeter, and you're like, okay, all this work for, you know, it's for a reason, and it paid off in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So thank you. I know I skipped a few steps and I got to BYU Hawaii, and that was like that was important for me because I think that's where you get your undergraduate. But boy, I mean, I love to hear that you know those that part of your story. Especially, I didn't realize that you went on a mission.
Mm.
So that was a 2-year, 18 months, I think?
That was a year and a half.
A year and a half, okay. A year and a half, then you came back and you took a year off, right?
Yes.
So you took a year off. So we just like, sometimes, you know, we as parents, you know, we feel like that we have to rush, you know, like, hey, get through high school, finish college, find a job, you know? But I think your experience and your path, I think maybe you can tell that story, you know, to see what was the benefit of, because I think that's like taking a break from things and just kind of reset your mindset before you go back and continue on, right?
Yeah. So like, yeah, when I came back from my mission, I didn't go to school right away. So I'm gonna go back a little bit, if you don't mind. So, if you remember me saying that we were here under our visa, school visa, and so I don't know another word to say it. So we were kind of illegally here in America. So things were harder. It was harder to get scholarships or pay for education and get grants through the government. So sources were limited for me when I was in my journey in school. So when I came back from my mission, I knew I had to work to pay for school. So I didn't have that opportunity like other kids, or to pay for to have scholarships to pay for their education. So I did pay for my school for my whole bachelor's degree. And it was when I went to BYU that they had a scholarship called the Merit Scholarship. And so that Merit Scholarship allowed me to kind of have a relief on my end that my schooling will be, part of my schooling will be paid for, and I wouldn't have to stress about it. So, but the criteria for it was I needed to maintain my GPA at a certain point average. It was either 3.5 and above. I don't remember, but I had to keep my grades up. And that was my motivation for me when I went to BYU. I took that opportunity and I was like, okay, if I have this opportunity from the school, there were different donors, but they called it the Merit Scholarship. And I made sure that my grades were good so that I could pay for part of my school. And so I took that scholarship seriously, and every semester I always wrote a thank you letter to the donors who donated for my education when I was at BYU. And I was left with a very small portion, which I was truly, truly grateful for. And so I knew that going to BYU and BYU Hawaii there was a reason for me to go there, just to help me with that part of my education and my journey. However, I did continue to, when I was at BYU Hawaii, I did continue to work as a full-time and go to school full-time. And while I was at BYU, I worked, I went back and I got a job at my, where I went to elementary. I was a teacher's aide, and from there, I worked with autistic children, and then I got, and then I had a second job at it's a nonprofit organization. It was it's called Bobby Benson, named after a young boy, and that was it's a nonprofit organization that helps kids who are or teens who struggle with substance abuse. So in school, it wasn't an easy route for me. There was a lot of challenges. Like I said, it was very bitter for me, but you know, I knew we were here. We stayed here in Hawaii because that was what my dad wanted us and to do, and that was our purpose for us to stay here in America, was to further education, get a job, and you know, just to pay back, give back to the community that we grew up in.
Well, you know, your story, you know, I think I can speak for myself as a parent, as a dad. You know, to hear somebody like yourself tell that story about working full time and going to school, and just like appreciate the opportunities that you have, because I think that's how I think, you know, coming from Tonga to America, you know, I wake up every day and be grateful about every opportunities around me, because I know how hard life is like in back in Tonga, and your dad you know, saw that. And but to me, you know, sometimes, you know, when we don't have scholarship, you know, full ride scholarship, and we think that that's the end. Mm-hmm. But your story, you know, that's to prove that you don't have to. You can actually, there's ways. We just have to have the desire. And you know what? But I think that when you earn, you go work full time, and it takes you extra years, you know, to get your undergraduate. Mm-hmm. It's worth more to you because you work for it. Yeah. You know, that sometimes you look back, you know, and all the hard work, it is a big difference. You know, you can get a full ride that easy, you know, go in and you get out. But I think there's another way to do it. You know, it's like just earn every grade that you get by working for it. Yeah. And it's called work ethic. And I'll say I'm very proud to hear your story. And I'm sure that a lot of our listeners, if they haven't heard your story, but this is a great story for all of us parents, you know, and I'll just speak for myself, to encourage our kids, you know, when it's not about just getting opportunities in sports. You can just go in academics only. Yes. And if you don't have the scholarship, you know, you talk to people, you ask for help, and opportunities will show up. Yes. But it's good to hear that, Kessa, and talk about now that you graduate, that you went back and work at the elementary, help out with that special group of kids, and you also worked for that nonprofit. Is that the reason why you picked your field of study, or did you decide that before you start doing the volunteer work?
It actually was my first semester at BYU. I went in my mindset was I'm gonna go and be like my dad. Mm-hmm. And you know, and I wanted to be a math teacher, but I love math, but somehow I didn't enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So it was after my first semester at BYU where I knew, like, okay, I had to sit down with myself and think, like, what do I want to study, and make use of it, make use of my degree after I graduate, and actually work in that field. So I knew that I love to work with people, and it's not easy to work with people, for some people, you know, because people have different characters, and you know, and some people are harder to deal with, and some people are more easier to deal with. So, but it was also on my mission where I knew that I wanted to work with people. And after my first semester at BYU, I knew then that my next semester, I knew that social work is what I wanted to do. And I was already working at this nonprofit organization. And that's where I got my experience at, was working at this nonprofit organization. And I basically worked with youth between the ages of 13 and 17. And they were from all over the island here in Oahu, and also from the outer islands, who we housed. And so they offer services for, how do I say it? What is it? Yeah, residential services. So they actually live there at this facility. And it was, I didn't know anything about what I was doing at Bobby Benson until I started working there, and I was also going to school at the same time and learning about what I'm working, you know, where I'm working at and what it's all about. And I knew that this is where I wanted to be. In social work, it's such a broad a field where there's social workers everywhere. Some people think it's only in certain areas, but there's social workers at schools, there's social workers for the community, at health centers, at hospitals, for the state. And so there's a lot of opportunities in the social work field. And so even in the military, there's social workers there. But it was at Bobby Benson where I got my experience from, working with troubled youth who went through substance abuse. And we also had therapists there who would work with the family, with the parents and the children. But my job there was a youth counselor. So I loved it because I was able to use my own life experiences to kind of be that mentor and counsel the youth into making their daily decisions. Most of the youth who come to the center, they lacked a lot of life skills. And what we did at the center was we taught them life skills to prepare them and to have like a toolbox to go when they discharge from the services, that they have a toolbox that they can turn to, or resources and skills that they aren't taught at home. And it's surprising that a lot of the youth, they don't know how to do the simple things that kids are taught in Tonga, like to do the laundry. You know, it's very different in America. You know, their mindset is different. And for me, when I first started, I was like, oh my gosh, you don't know how to do your laundry? You know, but I had to remind myself that, you know, these are different children nowadays. And sometimes their parents were also going through drugs and rehab. So they didn't get that opportunity to be taught by their parents. So it is a challenging field because you have to build rapport with any client or anywhere that you work in social work. You have to build rapport. Rapport meaning you have to build relationship with the other person in order for them to trust you, and so that they can open up and share their life experience with you, and that they know that they're in a safe place. And because most of them, where they come from, they never felt safe. They never felt like they can be themselves, or because just because of their different upbringings. And so it was at Bobby Benson that I learned a lot. I learned a lot of patience, and I've been working with the youth since I got out of high school. In church, I've always been called to be in the youth program. Up till I went on my mission, I came back and they called me right back into the youth program. So it, and then working with the youth, as it was a blessing for me. So I hope that answers your question.
No, absolutely. This is good stuff right here, in my opinion. You're just talking about what's going on in your life and what you're doing, and the impact. I can tell you this: the impact that you are making, people will see it, because you are investing in these kids in their lives today. The impact will happen later in life. And I cannot say enough but to tell you how I appreciate that you share your story, because I'm learning something from your story. Because you're doing this, you're busy with your job and you're still going and do those, and I'm sure that blessing will be coming your way, for all because you're not doing it for any other reason, just like you feel like you're called to do that. But I'm just curious, where did you serve your mission? Where did you go?
I served my mission here in Hawaii.
Oh, you're in Hawaii still? Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I was in Hawaii.
Okay. Perfect, right? I mean, you go around with different areas, and now you see, so you even more comfortable to do the work, because you're familiar with the culture, and the kids, they come from the same area. So with that, just real quick before we move on, I know we started, we talk about your field over here, but talk about your parents, your name, Kane, and where they from in Tonga. So because we probably have some listeners, they are not from, what I mean, but please share that real quick, and we'll come back. Yeah.
My dad is Sione Atmo Piutautongi. He's from Ha'ateho. And my mom is Pakileata Farakika Piutau. Her maiden name is Laumape, and she's from Bea.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that our listeners, if they're outside from the village of Hateho and Bea, that they know she's from the Waikopuna and Silapelua, right there in the same area. Also, in this field, love the fact that there's lots of opportunities, because academics we talk about in this program over here, and your leadership by leading and working with youth. So if you can talk a little bit about what your job right now, just to give an idea, because you said there's different, there's social work in the military, social work at the school, but specifically about what you do, you don't have to go into details, but just like in general.
So now I work at as social worker / case manager at a skilled nursing facility here in the community at Kahuku. And so, I basically, that's where I also did my internship at BYU Hawaii. I did my internship there for a whole semester, and then I had the opportunity to actually apply and now I'm working there as a case manager. So my role there is to plan discharge. So we have patients, they're mostly elderly people. So now I shifted from working with the youth now to adults and elderly population. So two very different populations, and my work there is very much different than where I was at Bobby Benson. I worked more one-to-one with the kids at the nonprofit organization I worked at, and versus here at the hospital where I work at now. I do meet with the patient, but it's just like an initial, the first time they get there. And then I do an assessment with them, and I help to make sure that they have a safe discharge going home. Now again, the patients who come there, it's they come there for rehab, for physical therapy, occupational therapy, and skilled nursing, meaning they need help with wound care. So I really had to shift everything and, remember what I learned in my internship, because it's more medical terminology that I'm dealing with now versus when I was working at with the youth. But I love this opportunity because it was there that I, had the inspiration to further my education. And so, again, I'm still working full time and going to school online. And it was my coworkers who encouraged me to go, to further my education. And I knew I wanted to further my education, but I didn't know if and when I would do it. But last year I just said, okay, I just got to do it. Just don't think about it and just do it. So here I am going to school and working full time. And but I enjoy it. There are always an opportunity to learn each day. So yeah, that's my basic job description that I do at the hospital is planning discharge service for the patients.
What's your coworker's name that encouraged you to further your education?
Oh, there's a few of them, but there's only 4 of us social workers there.
Well, I just want to shout out to them for encouraging you to continue to do that. I think that's important. That's the kind of people that we appreciate them in our lives, because we get to a point and somebody else come behind us is like, hey, you can take the next step. Yeah. And when I'm hearing your story, that's exactly what I'm thinking. The people that they give you that kind of encouragement, they're variable people in our lives. Everybody, we all need people like that, right? Yes. When we in our lives every day. So shout out to them, to your coworkers, and for that.
Thank you.
And and also the talk about, we mentioned internship. When you were at BYU, you did your internship here, because some people may be not familiar with that. Can you talk about that and how long you did it? And also how that internship continued to reaffirm your decision to go in that path?
I was doing my internship at, I had different locations that I applied to for internship, but this was actually the only place that got back to me. And I was actually praying for it because it was in the area, close to home. I didn't have to travel far. And so an internship is basically in your undergrads, when you're about to graduate, it's like a hands-on field work of kind of like what you're gonna get yourself into, or it gives you a good experience of what it's like to be in a social work, or wherever you want an internship in. It just gives you an experience that what it's going to be like in that field. And I did my internship for a whole semester, so it was about 4 months, I think 4 to 5 months. And then right after that, I graduated from BYU Hawaii. And so it was a totally new thing because I didn't know it's medical. It's in a medical field, so I had to learn a lot of medical terminology. Even as a social worker, we still have to know some kind of, some of the medical verbiage that they use, because we do a lot of phone calls, and making sure that the patients have, the right resources they need to discharge home safely. I hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah, no, because I think sometimes that experience only happen if you go to school for like 4 years. They give you the opportunity to go do your internship, and it is a two-way thing. They not only they evaluate you while you're working, you also get to to see if if you like to do the company, the hospital, while you're there. So by the end of 4 months, you have pretty much a good idea what it's going to be like when you go back. And it's also easy, I think, for hiring when you do that. Like when you go back over there, they trust you because you've done your internship with them, and they also, if you did a good job, and they I think your name is up on the top of the list compared to somebody that never done that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, I think it's good that we are sharing this because that way, young Tongan girls, that upcoming, if this is a field, they, now they know if they listen to this program, hopefully they learn a little bit more, because usually you don't think about this kind of stuff until you get to college, or maybe you have a family friend that they in that field that they tell you about, about that. But that's important, I think, for our listener, to hear about internship and when that happened and how that helps when you're going in for your final interview or when you're looking for a job, So absolutely, I can just tell that you love this work. Your personality, just like, it takes, because you're working with people that they really need help. So some personality will come across as like a little bit more aggressive, and these people sometimes they are, they don't welcome that. It's like we need somebody that they can, and I think that is important, and that's part of the training too. I think you train to understand. You mentioned earlier about like you gotta have good people skills, and not just one way of, people skills is like you gotta be able to work with different people, different ages, different nationalities, and because that's a big thing to understand. What was your secret to improve your people skills now that you're right in the field right now?
Oh man, I don't think I don't know if it's a secret, but I think, like I mentioned, we come across a lot of people who have different characters, and I think one thing that for me is to not take things personal, and because if if they get mad at you and you get too personal, you're gonna want to get back to them with the same energy that they brought off to you. So I think for me, it's also being very patient and understanding, especially where I'm working at now. There's a lot of patients who come there and they don't want to. They came from being very independent to now not being able to do things on their own. So we experience a lot of them who are angry and at a lot of things because they're getting older. They can't do what they used to do when they were younger. So they some of them are very nice. Some of them they come off at you that way, and in a negative way. But for me, it's always listening. I always try to listen. Even if they're angry, I listen, and then just to confirm with them that I'm actually there listening, and that's most times that's all what people need is someone to listen to. Yeah. And sometimes we think like, oh, we have to have the right answer, we have to know what to say to them, and that's how I used to think, like, oh, what am I going to say to them, but really it's not what you're going to say to them. It's just being there and listening and reconfirming their feelings to them.
And I think from our, we are trying to teach ourselves to listen.
Yep.
From the other person's perspective, he just want to be heard.
Yes.
Because maybe over the years, nobody stop and listen. That is the key for us. I think we all, especially if we like to talk, so you mentioned earlier, we want to see if we can solve their problem. They may not want us to solve their problem. Please, they just want us to listen to them. Just take a couple of minutes and just like sit there and listen to them. Not vent. I think vent is a little stronger word, but more like they can actually share their feelings. With you, and usually once they do that, their mood can change.
Yes.
But yeah, so your experience, I can just see it that, from working with little kids in the elementary all the way now to this group, and there's a wide range in ages, and man, I think your internship is like basically like kind of having mentors at the school. So when you go back and volunteer at your church youth group in the community outside from that work, does that transition easy? Because now you almost like you don't just come back and being mentors when you do that, right?
Yeah. I do have a lot of people, like even at church and in the community, who ask me for assistance, for help, and I always tell them I'm glad to help. And if I don't have the answer, I will refer them or give them resources. Because, here in America, we have so many resources. And, versus, back in Tonga, there's not that much resources for the youth and for the elderly people who are struggling. So, I'm always, it's always easy for me to be willing to help, and, with any population, I would say. And yeah, and I know it's from my experience working with the youth, and then also working at the nonprofit organization that I worked at, and yeah, so.
No, I'll say this. I know that your job, they pay you and stuff to work with at the hospital, but your involvement with the youth, because I'm a firm believer, investing in the youth, because that's how we're gonna change the future, right? Yes. With the youth today, in anything, I think that basically kind of guide them through the because this is a very busy world now for all of us, and youth is, in my opinion, is where we need to spend more time, invest more time in that, because when we get older, we can still make changes. We can try to help, other like older people, but at that point, I think they already have their ways, they set. But I think that it is very important, and I just love this program for that, because we try to focus on the youth. And I know when you agree to come on this program, we can talk about academics, because education, I think, is important, because that we can see things, that we can see the world, different. Because when you go to school, I think that we are around other students that they think differently, and helps us to see it, we are, instead of having a narrow vision, our vision is going to be a little bit wider, right? And with that, your basically, when you come and work with the youth, your leadership skills, because I think that's what every kid needs, that too. They need to feel like empowered, and but it takes few people to actually value leadership to add value to the kids.
Yes.
Because if we don't value the kids, or don't value the importance of leadership, we cannot add value to the youth today, or to the kids. But both of those two things, you have those two things very strongly tonight. I can just see it, and I think everybody that is listening tonight can also tell that if they see or listen on the phone. And those are two variable things for our families, for our Tongan community, whether it's here in the States, or in Tonga. Because like, think about this, like social work skills, like I don't remember somebody talk about that in Tonga. Like this, I do social work for that company, of I mean, that was like new to me. I heard that when I came to the States.
Yeah.
But it is a very important role in the community, in families, right?
It is. When I was looking for my internship, I did look into Tonga to see if they had an internship. They do, but it's not popular like it is here. And it's kind of a new thing for Tonga. And it is my hope and wish that, Tonga will have some kind of social worker, because it is between the social worker that kind of like the mediator to with the people and the community and the government, or to advocate for them, advocate for their needs. And I, in my program now, in my master's program, I've learned a lot about advocating, especially as a role as a social worker. It's important to advocate. And some people can't, don't have that experience. So that's where the social worker comes in. Social worker comes in and, says, this is why they need this, this service, or we need more of those services for, or we need this program, we need this school, and all these things. We are the ones that, it's kind of like the middleman with the people and the community or the government, and coming up here in America, it's, with laws and policies and all of that, to put it into effect. And it's not easy, but, it takes time to get policies done and, come up with programs that are beneficial to the community. So I think social work is it's a great opportunity if we have youth out there who like to work with people, and or just, it could be in a school setting. There's social workers in schools settings where they help to counsel people. They have services for people who go through depression, anxiety, and that is my only wish one day, is like, that's one thing I want to do, is go back home to Tonga and one hoping to open something up for the people in Tonga, so that they have these resources. They know with things that is not normal for a Tongan family to think like, oh, if your child tells you they have depression, they kind of just brush it off. But it's that they have the resource to turn to, people to talk to when it comes to, because those things are serious health, mental health issues that we kind of, as our culture, kind of just lets it slide under the rug. And it's not something that we talk about normally, but in social work we talk a lot about it. I learn a lot about mental health, and the importance of it, and what resources are out there to help them. So that's one of my goals. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but hoping that I will be able to somehow, give back to Tonga, somehow to, I don't know how that's going to work, but there's always a way.
Well, I can say this, you probably know this program will reach, or is, people in Tonga can listen to this program right now. But think about the future, this is, like your ideas, because of we live here, we have job here, and stuff, but can this platform, can you use this, is your message, but think about media, right?
Yes.
Because media, everybody now has a phone, but how can you get the message without having to worry about go to Tonga because you have a good job here and stuff like that? But it can be very effective by using, and I'm sure somebody else, I'm not the smartest, when it comes to this kind of stuff, but maybe somebody's listening because what your idea is, how can we build on that? Because the impact is gonna, it's going to make, or it's going to, the positive is, I can see it already, that in the Tonga. But again, if you think about like, going back and set it up, just like maybe the message can be like in a program like this, can start it to share your the message and the knowledge that you have, and we can start with that, right?
Yes.
And
Definitely.
because something is recorded and is people can listen to it over and over and over, because those are the steps that I can see it, because back in the days it was like, okay, I gotta go thousands of miles to go learn this knowledge. I gotta go back and try to implement it, and it's gonna take this long for people to see it. But right here, I mean, we're talking live right now on the radio, and people can replay this over and over. But there's just something, it just comes, to me, because I can hear your message is very clear. You're passionate about this, and if there's nothing that is available like that in Tonga, hey, you can just figure out a way to use social media to send the message. I think it's very effective the same way. Plus, you have a lot of connection because you went to college. Now you have people. I mean, the opportunity for help is available to you. And sometimes you don't have to. I'm just thinking, if people are not ready to receive, hey, the message is free. I'm gonna continue to provide it.
Yes.
And maybe one person will come along and listen to it and value it, and but this anyway.
Yeah.
I want to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my one of my dreams, and to I don't know too much of what Tonga has in place, but that's always been what I deep down that I really wanted to do. And like you said, use this platform to get the message out that social work is it may not they may not need to have the education, but if they have the passion and they're in Tonga and they have that desire to help people, that's even a start. To open some kind of a facility up and to offer resources for the people in Tonga. There's just there's so that they can feel like they're supported, that they have somewhere to turn to other than other things that they or just not even being open about it. And so I know in our culture, we're not that open with things like that, talking about mental health. And so, I hope one day that I, or somebody, or one of maybe down in the future, my nephews or my own children will make that dream come true. But that's always been something that I wanted to do. So, and I think it's, for me, I was like, oh, that's such a silly idea. But for me, in school, I don't know why that ever came, why I thought it was silly or not a good idea. But, I always found a way to do things. If I didn't know what to do, I always asked. And that was my thing in school, was like, I always asked, and if I didn't know anything, I wasn't the brightest student. So I always made sure I had to ask, and to get clarification, and education, you don't have to be smart. You just have to have that desire, and that passion. And if you know that's what you want to do, whatever field you want to do, you'll flourish in that. So I know that, education doesn't have to be someone who's really smart. because I was never smart. You know, it's just having that desire, and that I don't know how my parents would say loto fenga,
Yeah.
you know, and just never giving up. So I hope that helps, you know, whoever the listeners are today, and if they are questioning if they should go back to school. And I would say yes, go back to school. Even though if you don't know how you're going to pay for school, just go back to school. There's always a way. You know, especially here in America, there's so many resources, so many, you know, things that will help you to pay for your school. And I think that comes after, you know, worrying about paying to go to school. But that if you have a desire, just don't wait on it. Just start and just go. Yeah.
Well, there's listening to you talking over there. It's like, one, you don't have to be smart to go to college. You have to have the mindset, the willing.
Yes.
That's why we go to college, because we need to learn what we don't know, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, in my own opinion, when we go to college, and sometimes it's like we go study, memorize stuff to take a test to pass.
Yep.
When you go and actually put it to work in your actual job,
yeah,
it's not about that. It's about how they want to see what your thought process is. Exactly. How do you solve problems? How do you have good people skills? You know, all this kind of stuff. You know, just to reinforce. What I don't know what's the word, but what you were saying, I do agree with you on that. You know, it's like we go and learn, ask for help. You know, because that's the other thing too. You know, we come here, we like. We don't want somebody to think that we don't know. We don't want to ask questions. You know, I'm like what the first one to say I don't know it. Hey, Jeremy, if I'm going to ask the same question 10, 15 times in the class, I'm good with it. You know, because I'd rather be straightforward with my short, you know, because I don't know, than try to pretend like that I know.
That you know, yeah.
I think that's a very good lesson for all of us that we have kids, you know, just to encourage our kids. And also the other thing is like in high school, we had to get through in 4 years, you know, to graduate. Even if you don't graduate, you can still get your GED after that.
You can get your GED.
But to graduate from college, there's no way. You can do it whenever. Yes. So there's no excuses for kids that if they say, you know, I cannot go back to school, you know, I'm too old and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. You need to live your life, you know, do everything you want so you don't have any regrets looking back.
Yes.
You know, that's the, because I think I heard something about the worst thing in life is like your regrets on things that you did not do.
Yes.
So, keep moving forward, and whatever you want to do, give it a try. Try it, because, and I'm all for like different jobs, you know, because every job that you do, you learn different experience from it. I think it helps with the next job. You know, you go over there and you do that, and you help with the next job. You know. But really good to hear you. Go ahead.
I just want to mention something came up to me is that, you know, sometimes we have the mentality that, oh, our kids need to graduate from a university, but you know, some kids are not meant to go to college, and so there's another opportunity is trade school. You know, some kids are more better with their hands, with, you know, working with mechanics and learning how to, you know, build houses and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not only going to a university, there's also trade schools. You know, because not everyone is meant to go to college. And, you know, there's like hairstylists, you know, schools like that. And so there's always opportunities to learn and to and to grow.
No, I love it. I love that. I think we all can agree. Outside of going to the traditional way, to go get a 4-year degree and move on. These trade schools, a lot of people, they're really good. That's their passion, and that's they do things. They work on cars. I have friends like that here in Oregon. They work on cars. They can take a engine apart,
Yes,
and they put it together. But that's not what they do every day.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking, like, now this person, when he fixes a friend's car, including myself too, we pay him to do that.
Yeah.
So, but that's the opportunity, right? You have that kind of, because you can go to a mechanic school and become a mechanic. That's not like going to a 4-year school. You can go to a mechanic school and you can work on this heavy equipment here where we live in a farming area. I mean, these people, they love it and they make good living doing that. But
Yes.
I agree with you 100%. I think we talk about it, but I'd like to see more kids look outside like that, and because sometimes we almost think that the primary kids. Sometimes I love the fact I know some families over here, their kids, they make their mind up they want to be farmers before they graduate high school. As soon as they graduate, they go straight and work in their farm.
Yeah.
Because that's what they do around around here,
Mhm.
and they're okay with it. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
But for us, we need to look outside the traditional. If a kid is not, I'm the same way. Math is not my, I'm not good. But for some kids, they're really good at calculus. Like, okay, good for you. You can pursue that. But for other kids that the classroom, and here's the other thing that I also learned, because the classroom here, when you go, you sit, they ask you to sit still, don't move.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody that doesn't, I'm not like that. I want to be able to move around a little bit. And I go to school and they make me sit the same seat for like an hour for that period. Some kids cannot handle that. So they like to move around, work with their hands, but once the quicker we identify that, and and us parents, we also need to give our full support.
Yes.
Instead of trying to force him to go try to be somebody they're not, But, no, good stuff. Love it. Anything else that you want to
No.
No, I'm talking about that the work experience that you think beside your idea for Tonga.
Mhm.
What other things that because working with the youth is that you have been doing that. Is there any other ideas that you think that you see opportunities that you can make an impact with? I mean, you're already doing too much. I'm just asking.
I think there's so many opportunities, to help out, and for people who need help, because everybody needs help, even social workers need help too. So, yeah, that's the only idea I have right now is the one in Toga, but
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Right before we go on, I just want to check with Vahoy and make sure that we're good on time. And anything else, we need to take a little break here for a couple of minutes. Vahoy?
Alo, pito, te vita. Poko le pega Amerika pa e tuku maha tau waki. E mo ki break ya yo ko te tau minite wanoa.
Okay. Malo.
Ke maha tau ki waki, malo e meli.
Io.
tau ki whango pe ka meri pe po kalau tu apa tahu tak tadi kia temere tu mua ke o bawa tai pe fa malo la ikon ke tahu kau sponsor ki kalap na kai ki solo sit temu no ke sponsor ko kala mare tio ke kamu anga taun tawa mai ke mai na ko ni tawa ke pe ke tu ke ni pai to ni ki moto ni nga hi tenga ko to pe mo pa ho ko la de mo tai ko kala man ko tu ko tahu kau sponsor pe nge pe ko la vete vita ku ki to pe ki tu akakala ko wi kai kai hu mai hono o pe fide o ka fata mo ko kala ma ka ku hange ka te au ma pe na ki fe mo ikina a Emilia
Io.
ku ka te tai ni a mo e ho pa te pe tau
Io.
alo te vita
Malo. Guess are you back?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. So we have covered quite a bit tonight, but you're busy. You're a busy woman. So what do you do for outside your work? Are you beside vacationing? Is there any what fun stuff that you enjoy doing?
Oh, well, I like to before I used to like to hike. I love hiking. Just because in social work there's so much stress that you take on and so much load. So I try to make sure that I, take care of myself as well. And yeah, so I like to go hiking. I haven't done much of that, but I now my time is, I don't have much time. I'm back into school again, but when I do, I just like to spend time with my family, my mom and my little brother. We try to find a day that we can just be with each other. And that kind of, gives me that time for self-care to rejuvenate myself, and when I go back to work and go back to my busy life, that I'm able to be focused and be able to be ready and help others. So yeah, I don't do much of a hobby, but yeah, I do have that's basically it.
No, I think that's good, because I'm thinking, like, when you talk about hiking, are you talking about trail, or are you talking about just on the beach in Hawaii?
Hiking in the mountains.
Okay, you guys have a trail over there then in Hawaii?
Trails, yeah. Okay. In Hawaii, there's a few that I've gone on in Hawaii. So
I cannot say that. Yeah, I cannot say that I do a lot of hiking, but I love doing that. Because for that purpose you're talking about, it is quiet, right? Because usually these trails are off road, and it's very peaceful. So when you go on this hike, at first when I first heard about it, like, I thought of just going walking, right? I'm like, no, I'm Tongan. I don't walk. I just, when I don't do anything, I need to sit down and rest. But hiking is more of it's very therapeutic.
Yes.
And it really, and everywhere I go now, wherever I go, I always look for a trail. Sometimes it's not an actual trail, but it's like a bike path.
Yes.
That you can just follow sidewalk, and stuff like that. But you see a lot of people, they do it. And every major city now, if they don't have outdoor trails, they would have like the bike path.
Yes. So
you share that with people, they ride their bicycles and stuff, but very healthy. I think I encourage people to do that. When my kids were young, we used to live in town and they have the sidewalk. I just love that, just like easy riding. There's no hills, it's like flat surface all the way, But good stuff. Plus, usually you run, it depends what drills you go to. We see like wild animals.
Yeah.
Nature, is really good. I'll bring you back to so your education. You're going to school right now, or you're working, and when what's the goal here when you're done? Are you still going to be doing the same work, or are you going to move on to administration with your education?
I think what I ultimately want to do with my degree is to hopefully be a professor at a university.
Okay.
So that's my goal right now. So is to be a professor teaching social work. And so I hope I can, that's one of my my goals and the reasons for furthering my education. And my education is in my master's program is also in social work. So that's but I think I kind of know where I want to be in social work now, which is in the elderly population where I'm working right now. I know I have a lot of experience and working with the youth, which if the opportunity comes, I wouldn't hesitate to work again in the with the adolescents or the youth, and but that the reason for me going back to school is to reach that goal of my hope and dream to be a professor and to teach at a university level. And
you can do it. You can do it. Yeah. No, so your story. If you have a daughter out there, a kid that is listening to this program and just hear your story, like one step at a time, one day at a time, and learn the skills along the way. But I love the fact that you have those dreams, big dreams. People, being a professor at the university, that's a huge accomplishment. And we all love to see you do that because of the impact that you're going to make. More students over there that will come through your program, so we can actually have a direct impact in their study when they go out and continue to make a difference in the community.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking like this is gonna be like here in the next this is like 2-year program, your master.
It's actually it's called an advanced standing.
Okay.
So it's less than 2 years. So it's about 1.5 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Could be a year, but I kind of spaced it out just so the load is not so much for me. So, yeah.
Man, I'm super excited for you, and you're a big, huge inspiration to all of us with your education and your story. But what does it feel like for you that that every day you get to make it your job, your work, you're gonna make an impact, and people rise around you, and in your community, in your church, and
I think for me, it just I always have a humbling feeling that that I get to be able to help others. And you know, these people I've never seen before, they come to the hospital, and just knowing that I'm able to be that person to advocate for them in their specific situation, it just gives me like, okay, it reassures to me like that's, you know, one of my purposes, you know, that I have. And you know, and yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Oh, absolutely. You answered my question, because what I was going with is the money is not, you know, this is like from your heart.
Yeah.
And it, you know, for me, the impact that you are making, because you feel like it makes you feel good. Money cannot buy that. You know, the feeling that you have by helping people, making a difference. Because, like, for example, like people in the hospital, like, sometimes they don't have relatives close by.
Yeah.
So you're the closest person beside the nurses that they give them, you know, their treatment while they're there, to make them feel like that they're family. And it takes, you know, once you see that, you know, you're doing mission work every single day when you go to work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? You don't have to go far to look to do good work like that. But I just think it's great. I can relate to that. I have parents too, you know, when they go, if they were in that position, you know, we all want people that they can treat our parents with respect and love and kindness. And you are doing that, and I think I can say that with all of us tonight to thank you for the work that you do, because it's not. I'm sure that your the kind of education that you get, you know, you can get offers from anywhere in the states to go make money, you know. But you choose to stay local and continue to make the impact in your community, and love to hear what you are doing, and we will continue to follow your path, you know, and hopefully that your story will continue, that you can make an impact in all of us. Not just us parents, you know, but maybe our kids, you know, that they and you know, if we have more some of our children, you know, they can if they choose to go in that path and continue to make that the same impact that you are making right now. But really appreciate that, and just your willingness to share your story tonight. And I know we didn't really prep this, you know, I was like kind of scrambled to figure out how we're gonna do this, but here we are, you know, towards the end of our program tonight. Lots of good stuff that you're sharing with us here in the panel, but to all our listeners too.
Thank you, Tevita. Yeah, I just appreciate you, you know, considering me to share my story, and hopefully it would encourage someone out there who's listening that, you know, to go back to school, and yeah. You know, there's different opportunities to learn. Like I said, it's not only in sports that you can get, you know, opportunity to go to school. I know a lot of people go to school for, or go through sports to pay for school. There's also grants out there. There's a lot of scholarship. There's, you know, help from the government to pay for school. So there's so many resources out there for, you know, for people who want to go back to school. So it is my hope that everyone, you know, whoever's listening and has that desire and or is questioning about going back to school, just do it. When you wait too long, it kind of, you'll never get to it. But it takes, like you said, Devita, it takes every step makes a difference, even if it's small. But those small steps are what gets you to the big, to where you want to be. So I appreciate it, and thank you guys for letting me be on tonight.
And also, I think we still have a few minutes. I think what is important that you are come on tonight and talk about this, because I think that a lot of times I'll speak this for myself. We focus on the boys a lot, and we focus on the boys, and we focus on sports. But the girls, the daughters, and the girls are very important in my mind. Also, but to have somebody like you to come in and talk about, we can only add value to the girls and the women and the daughters if we value them. So we start by valuing your story tonight.
Thank you.
And that's by you coming and share your story, we now can add value to somebody else, a young Tongan girl out there that is considering or maybe is discouraged from going beyond high school to go to colleges. By your story, because like you said, your story is like not the easiest.
Yeah.
If you did not listen to the beginning of the program, you share your stories like not the easiest to get the opportunities. But if you can get through it, imagine somebody that was born and raised in the States, as far as being a U.S. citizen growing up over here. But we cannot wait for the opportunity to come to us. We have to have that kind of mindset that we want to do better. We want to just a go-getter attitude, right? Just go get it.
Yeah. So, if you want to, like you said, you can't wait for the opportunity to come to you. You just have to do it. And my thing is to never hesitate to ask people. Even, that was for me, was just, I spoke to a lot of people, and I knew one person. It's called networking. We're from one person knew one thing, and they referred me to the next person. And that's how I learned, and from networking. And that's, it's just, that's how, it's just, you have all this tools for you to use. You just have to, on my mission, it was always open your mouth, and speak up, because, the other person won't know if you want it unless you're, unless you open up, you tell them, you ask questions. So, there's, like I said, you don't have to be a 4.0 student or, have good grades. But it's that you have that mentality that you're trying, and everybody's path in, pursuing education is different. Some people might be very easy, but for me it was challenging, but I look back at it, and it's been a blessing for me. All the challenges, all the ups and downs in getting to where I am. And I never thought that I would be here today and have a bachelor's degree, because I just in social work, and it's just actually just keep moving forward and not going back, and just there's I hope that what I'm saying tonight will be a positive message for somebody out there who's listening.
Yeah, thank you. Yo. Yo, malo mahoi. Guess thank you so much for coming on tonight, and really appreciate you. And best of luck to your schooling that is left. And just wanna say that if we ever need you to come back and talk about specifically your field of study and what you can share, we'd appreciate that. But again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And for those of you that are listening, until next time, I'm Tevita Hufanga from Oregon. We'll see you next time. Malo pito ofalahiatu.
Thank you, Ofatu.
Yo. Malo maho, yeah? Yo. Malo kakala. Malo.
Mai ko puna ia tasin pa malo ke Tevita Hufanga ka ma ko pesa pitauton melawat programa pa ko pesa ini kamu bea mau tu apa tu malo Emelito halo kakak
Malo.
Thank you.
Opat Kesa
Mopolia, ofatu.
Opat Tevita
Yo.